us to not attack people for crises of faith. So there was a very short video going on, and it was someone who had converted to Church of Latter-day Saints, Mormon, converted to Mormonism, and she was speaking with her youth pastor. She was a teenager, and she was informing her youth pastor that she had made the decision that she believed what the Mormons believed and was going to be baptized into the Mormon Church. And the video was her response from her youth pastor was awful. I mean, let's just be real here, awful. Rather than talk with her about, okay, what do you believe about what the Mormons believe? This is important for us as Christians when we run into somebody who, especially if they're close, because there's a lot of emotional baggage there. It can be hard to have this neutral answer. But when confronted with someone who says, if one of my dear friends were to go, I've decided, I've looked at the evidence, and I am going to convert to Islam. My response is going to be, well, let's talk about it. You know, so you believe what Islam believes. What do you believe? Before you start telling that person all the reasons that they're being deceived, all the personal reasons that what they believe is incorrect, let us spend a minute and actually talk to the person about what they actually believe. What do they know about the beliefs of these other areas? When I have someone who talks to me about the idea of becoming Eastern Orthodox, that's become very popular nowadays. I can sympathize with some of the arguments that they have. I can go, okay, they can look around and say, I want something that's richer than what I see practiced in the Protestant faith. I can go, I can understand that. I can absolutely agree with that. I can absolutely agree that especially if you're coming from a very, very, I'm a low church Baptist, so take this what it will, but there are non-denominational congregations that that have almost nothing in common with what the church looked like for most of its history. Now, to be fair, that isn't an indictment of the church, modern church, in and of itself. But that is something we need to recognize when we talk about, especially as Protestants, if you're a non-denominational Protestant, what it is that you believe. It's a good time to have that conversation. Before you start questioning somebody's intellectual capacity, their moral capacity, their things of that nature, you need to have a conversation about what it is that they actually are stating they believe. If I were speaking, somebody LDS comes up to me and says, I've given it a lot of thought, and I think, I believe what they believe. I would go, okay, what do they believe? Let's have that conversation right now. Because first and foremost, they may, before you start destroying what they believe, you may find out, what they really believe. They believe what you believe as a Protestant, but they're appreciating maybe some secondary characteristics of the Mormon Church. I'm just using Mormonism as an example. So if you start out attacking, you are completely attacking a person, and we are not called to kill sheep, no matter how far they wander. That's what wolves do. Now, we are called to practice honesty and faith, and I do not pull punches when it comes down to talking to somebody who wants to be Christian in name only, who wants to do everything that looks like a wolf but pretend they're a sheep. We're going to have a different conversation. But when someone comes to you and says, I agree with what they, do not start attacking whatever the they is. Sit down and ask, what do they believe? The individual, first and foremost. From there, I would then go into what does whatever you're looking at believe? What does Islam believe? What does Mormonism believe? What are these other things that are believed? We need to discuss those things. But you notice now we're talking to the person. We're opening up dialogue. That's going to be the way we deal with these larger issues. Don't attack someone for a crisis of faith. Jesus did not attack people for crises of faith.